Hey guys, and welcome back. In today's video, we'll be doing another SQL problem. So let's get right into it. We have this table visits, and this visits table has two columns, visit ID and the customer ID. Both are of type integer. Visit ID is the column with unique values for this table. This table contains information about the customers who visited the mall. Then next we have the transactions ID, which contains three columns. The transactions ID column, the visit ID column, the amount. All the three are integer types. Now, transaction ID is column with unique values for this table. This table contains information about the transactions made during the visit ID. Now, if you observe these two tables, we can clearly make out that the visit ID here is the primary key, and this visit ID is a foreign key. So this is a reference. This column, the column in the transactions table, is a reference to the visit ID column in the visits table. I hope that is clear because we have discussed this in the previous videos, and this is like one of the most fundamental concepts that a beginner should understand really well, because joins is like one of the most important topics when it comes to SQL. So let's continue. We are asked to write a solution to find the IDs of the users who visited without making any transactions and the number of times they made these type of visits. Return the result table sorted in any order. Now, now if you look at these two tables, the transaction table in particular, it contains the transactions that are made during the visit, right? But we have been asked to find the IDs of those users who have not made any transactions, right? So let's look at this a little more in detail. Okay, okay, so in order to achieve what we want to do, we'll be using the left auto join in SQL. I know that in the previous videos I have used this concept, but I feel like I didn't. I feel like we should understand a little more how it actually works. So we have two tables here. We have the customers table, and we have the orders table. And now consider, let's take this, and in this, the customer ID is the primary key. In the orders table, the customer is the foreign key. Now, what you're doing is when we perform a left outer join in these two tables, this is the output that we are getting, right? Hey, now what? Now the main thing to keep in mind when you're looking at this query is, if you've noticed the orders table, there are some customers here whose entries are not present in the customers table. Let's look at the first entry here. Order ID 1, amount 200, and customer 10, meaning this is a customer with ID 10, but this customer is not present in the customers table. Similarly, 6 and 8 are not present. So as a result, when we perform the left join, what happens is uh, the customer IDs from the customers table are all displayed here along with the first names. But since 4, 2, 1 are not present in the orders table, these values will be left as null. And we get entries for 3 and 5 because 3 and 5 are present in the orders table, right? So the entries which are null, these are the people who have not made any kind of transactions. I hope that makes sense, because because if it's null, it means that they have not made any purchases at all, right? So I hope that makes sense. So let's continue. So I hope that you understood the problem statement. Just a small tip here. People should really, let's say if somebody is preparing for a SQL related interview, one person should get really adept at understanding the problem statement, because the entire problem, it depends on how well you understand the problem statement and what the problem expects you to find. And that's exactly what the interviewers really look for. How well is this guy good at solving a certain problem? Because of course a company wants problem solvers, right? Not someone who cannot solve a problem. That defeats the entire purpose. Okay, so let's continue. Select. A dot customer ID, comma B dot visit ID from customers as a left outer join. My bad. It's visits as a transactions transaction as B on A dot visit ID equals B dot visit ID. Yeah, so what I'm planning on doing is I'm going to divide this query into two parts. Sorry, divide the solution into two parts. So first, let's just find the customers. Let's find the customers who have not made any transactions, right? So where B dot visit ID is null. So let's run the query. Just give it a sec. Okay, so this is our output. We can see that customers 30, 96, 54 have not made any transactions. And if you see the visit ID is null, meaning even though even though their IDs are present in the table, they have not made any purchases from the store. They might have visited the store, but they didn't buy anything. So we have got the first part. Now what we can do is we can put this in a CTE to make it more presentable. So with CTE as, all right, now select. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to select customer ID, all right, from CTE, and then I'm going to, select customer ID, comma, count star, because I need to count how many of these visits they have made, right? As count num trans from CTE. Now I'm going to group it by the customer ID. So let's run the query. All right, we've got the correct output. So let's check. Okay, so the output that we've got is 30 has made one of these visits, right? 54 made two of these visits. 96 made one of these visits. It matches clearly with the expected output. So I hope that you have understood what the problem is about. And again, it is really important to really get a good grasp of the problem statement, because that solves 90% of your problems. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.